Hi, Peter Boolkah here, and welcome to today's edition of The Transition Guy, where we're going to be looking at Stephen Covey's time matrix. Now, I have loads of business owners always come up to me, and you know what one thing they say to me? I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. I need 36 hours in a day, blah, blah, and all that stuff. The reality is we've all got 24 hours in a day. We've all got enough time. The challenge we have is that we do not use our time effectively. And I remember seeing Stephen Covey's sort of time matrix the first time around and thinking, do you know what? I know what I'm doing wrong. So let me take you through the time matrix. Let's see how you're spending your time. So think about tasks, okay? We have things in our life that are urgent, not urgent, important, not important. And I mean as a business owner. So let's look at tasks that are urgent and important. And you know those tasks, don't you? Those tasks that are urgent and important, they're the stuff that you need to do now. Now, how much of your time do you spend having to do stuff now? Because it needs to be done now, and you have to be the one to do it. See, when you're spending your time in this sort of quadrant here, you're in demand. And you absolutely have no control over your time whatsoever. See here, guess what? You are firefighting. Yeah, and you're thinking, yeah, do you know what? I spend a lot of my time there. And when you're firefighting, guess what happens? You're being reactive. It's not a fun place to build your business, whichever way you look at it. It sucks. Then we've got tasks that are urgent, that the business needs to have them done, but they're not important. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not important to the business, but what it does mean, they're not important to you as the entrepreneur of the business. They are somebody else's urgent and important. Now, the big challenge you've got is that we are nice people. You are nice business owners, and you know what you try to do? You try to be helpful. And what happens is your employees will come to you and they will say, hey, I have a problem with this. And so many business owners then say, no problem, leave that with me. I will get it sorted. And then you wonder why you have no time. Because the reality is, very often you end up doing other people's urgent and important, as well as your own stuff. You're never going to have time. And it's great. And when I speak to business owners and we go through this, and I actually say to them, why did you hire people? Well, because I had no time. And then I'll say, well, why did you hire people to give you work? They look at me really upset, but that's the reality. When you're doing stuff that is urgent but not important for you, it is what we call distraction. Because it's somebody else's urgent and important. And there's a great book for this. It's called One Minute Manager Meets the Monkey. And it's all about time. Because when you're in distraction mode, the chances are you have got other people's monkeys. Yep. So think about it. You are paying other people for them to give you work. And good luck with that one. Then we've got stuff that is not urgent and not important. This is just delusion. Okay, what's an example of delusion? I'll tell you what. Again, business owners. Very often, you see this a lot with manufacturing where they have warehouses. You'll often find the business owner out in the warehouse tidying up. The reason they're tidying up is because their employees, number one, have left it like a shithole. That often happens. And number two, they'll then justify it by saying, and I love this one, it always makes me crack up, so why are you in the warehouse? It helps me think. I mean, come on, you're an entrepreneur building a business and you're stuck in a warehouse cleaning it up. How does that help you think? It helps you become poor, not rich. Total delusion. It's not important, it's not urgent. And then we've got the final one, which is not urgent, but it's important. That's when you actually start planning your business. And what we mean by that, it doesn't have to be done now, but it is really important to the growth of the business. And we call that direction. By the way, delusion, we can just call that shit, actually. So with direction, We tend to put off direction. The reason we tend to put off direction, because it's not a fire. Yeah, we're not being dragged. Therefore, we feel guilty. Should we really be spending our time here? Well, let me give you a couple of examples that may change your perception. Okay, when we look at time. Is spending time with your significant other urgent? Not urgent. Most of the time, it's not urgent. And you can carry on not spending time with that person, but if you don't make time and spend it with that person, eventually you're going to get the knock on your shoulder where they say, well, do you know what? We're not spending any time together. I no longer want to be with you. Now do you have the choice whether you spend your time with that person or not? Absolutely not. It's now become urgent and important. Yeah, for those of you looking at me, looking at this video right now and thinking, that's me, do something about it. Another example is health. You see, when we're young, we feel that we're invincible. And we get to 30, and I think for your first 30 years of your life, you can get away substantially with abusing your body. But then when you start hitting your 40s, you've got choices to be made. One of the choices is, how do I stay physically active? How do I stay physically fit? Now, for a lot of people, the thought of going to the gym is totally, ugh, I'm not going to go to the gym, I hate it. But the reality is this, you can have loads of alcohol, you can eat out and have takeaways, and today's diets are quite bad really in comparison, because we now live in a take-out, eat-out culture. You can say, okay, I'm not going to do any of that, and in your 40s, you're going to start coming up with medical challenges. Now, it could be stuff like diabetes, cholesterol, etc., and your doctor says to you, okay, you're now on medication, you need to make lifestyle changes. If you don't, these medical conditions that you've got are going to get progressively worse, and you're potentially going to shorten your lifespan. All of a sudden, guess what? Your choice, whether you exercise or not, is no longer a choice. Because the reality is now, if you don't exercise, you're going to die. Fact. How many people do we know in that boat? Quite a few. And it's the same in business. You've got to start thinking, do you know what? I need to start making changes. You see, why would you want to spend your time firefighting, etc., where if you go into direction and you actually start planning your business, what you do here is you stop the fires from forming in the first place. Surely that's got to be a much better strategy than firefighting. So let's look at time in terms of, let's put things into context here. Let's look at time in terms of a vase. Okay, so here, play with me. You see this vase, yep? It is there, don't worry, it's a beautiful vase, and it represents 24 hours in a day. Now, I'm going to put rocks in my vase. Is my vase full? No, I hear you shout. Okay, I'm going to put pebbles into my vase. Is my vase now full? No? Okay, sand. I'm now putting sand in there. Is it full? You're a hard bunch to please. Water. Now I'm pouring water in it. It's full, okay? It's full. That's my 24 hours done. How does that reflect back to the matrix? Okay, rocks. Rocks are direction. Pebbles represent demand. Distraction is represented by sand. Delusion is water. I want you to start thinking how you're spending your time in the business. You see, if your business, if your vase is full of pebbles, sand and water, how are you ever going to get the rocks into your business, into your vase, to take control? See, everyone says to me, well, I don't have time to put the rocks. Well, sometimes you've got to put the rocks in first to make the change. And I want you to go and analyse exactly what you are doing in your business, how are you spending your time, and actually what impact is it having on you getting your business to where it wants to be, or where it needs to be. And the reality is, if you're spending time in the wrong areas, I promise you that your team will also be doing the same. I love the saying, monkey see, monkey do. Your team will represent and replicate what you're doing. If you are dysfunctional out here, they're going to be dysfunctional. If you've got a very proactive-based business, it's because you are being very proactive. If you've got a very reactive-based business, it's because you are being reactive. See, proactiveness starts here. here in the direction box. Now, if you are interested in looking at time within your business, you want to go through the Covey matrix, and perhaps you want to do the exercises that we have in order to establish where you're spending your time, head over to Boolkah.com and get in contact. The reality is time is finite. See, with money, you can spend your money and you can always earn it back. See, once your time is spent, you can't earn your time back. It's time spent is time spent. Do not allow the time thief to rob you of your time. And remember, failing to learn is learning to fail.